Welcome back to the Icon Show, where we have real conversations with entrepreneurs, leaders, visionaries about the breakthroughs, the breakdowns, the pivots, the reinvention, and defining moments that really shaped who they have became. I'm your host, Jordan Lynae, and today's episode is really one I know is going to hit home for so many women listening. Today, we are talking about something a lot of people quietly feel but don't always know how to put into words. What happens when you build the life, the career, the relationship, the version of success you thought you were supposed to want? And one day you realize no longer feels aligned to who you are. Today's guest is someone who has lived the journey deeply. Elizabeth is the author of The Main Character, a speaker, a mindset coach, and a consultant, really helping women stop waiting for permission and finally step into their own lives. And her story is so powerful. She became a wife, a mother at just the early age of 16 years old, and she reinvented herself across multiple careers and seasons of her life who found herself facing a truth so many high achieving women experience. A life can look successful on paper, but still feel so disconnected internally. What I love about Elizabeth's message is that she doesn't just talk about confidence, she talks about self trust, alignment, decision making, and really rebuilding your life from the inside out. This conversation is going to be so powerful and honest and grounding and so empowering. And Elizabeth, I'm so excited and so honored to have you here with us today because I think your story really speaks to so many women who have really spent years being everything for everyone else. And somewhere along the way, stopped asking themselves what they actually wanted. I would love to really start there. And again, thank you so much for being here. Our conversation before we even had you come on. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you so much. Yes. I know I'm a chatterbox as it is, so this could be like a
Like, we
5 hour
better
podcast.
start because this is going to
Yeah.
be fire. And what we're saying right now is already
Yes. Yes.
starting all
So
the things.
I think that that is what so many women face is that we all were mostly goal oriented and we are mostly led by societal norms. So you're supposed to do one, two, three, four, and then you're going to be happy. And I had goals for myself because I was a teen mom and because of that, I had a chip on my shoulder because everybody thought I had just messed up my life and that I was never going to amount to anything. It was understood that I was done. Like counselors in high school weren't talking to me about college. I wasn't even offered that. When everybody else was talking to their counselors about college, my counselor didn't even talk to me. And I walked in and I said, am I going to get an appointment? And she looked at me like, no, for what? Are you going to go to community college? And I didn't have a plan. So I said, no, I think after I graduate, I'm just going to move. So I was in Los Angeles. I was going to move to Fayetteville where my husband was stationed at the time. So I let it go and I let that be my identity. But it was something that stayed with me and that just being a Latina, first generation American, Boris, just spicy all the way. I developed this need to prove myself. And then that turned into what I didn't understand was a trauma response of perfectionism. And I had to outwork everyone. And so I kept trying to start college, but I was a mom. And so it wasn't, and I'm a military wife. So it wasn't easy. And we kept moving. And every time I moved, I would try again. But then I had to work and then there was kids so I kept trying and trying and trying. But I had a chip on my shoulder. I always had a chip on my shoulder. I always disqualified myself. Nobody did it to me. I did it to myself. And
Our biggest critic.
I had no idea. I just was tough as nails. I was really strict. I was the one that was left back when my husband would deploy. And during his military career, he was in for 24 years. And after 9/11, he did 8 deployments at a minimum of a year each. One time, 15 months each that I didn't see.
Goodness. And
Yeah,
your mom.
a young mom working, 2 kids, everything that normal life as a wife looks like. But then on top of that, your husband's in a war zone. You can't communicate with him. You can't pick up the phone and ask a question. You never see him. There wasn't FaceTime. There wasn't all the technology that we had now. So to say that I was under stress for years and years and years, when I look back at it now, I'm exhausted just thinking about it. I don't know how I did it because now I have kitties. Like that's my biggest responsibility in the house. Yeah, it's like I have to wake up and, feed the cats. That's the biggest thing I have to worry about. And I don't know how I did it, but I didn't also know that that was laying the groundwork for the work that I do now. So I always say that confidence, which is my niche, the main character method, confidence comes after work. You can't just do the woo woo and like just being confident and that toxic positivity, just be positively. It doesn't work. When I was faced with things, I knew there was nobody that was going to come and save me. I was either and my entire family's in Southern California. I was either going to, and I was in either North Carolina, we were stationed in New York, we were stationed in Germany, in Italy. There was no one to do it. I had to do it myself. So that just built up this grit and tenacity. And I never asked for help, ever. I just handled it. So when you are brought up like that, there's something in you that could either leave you and make you a really hard person, which it did. I was very armored. And when I hit 50, something just fell off. There was a couple of traumatic instances in my family and my friend situations. And I just broke everything, all the armor, all the things that I thought that I had together, everything broke. And when I had to put myself back together, I thought, I'm going to do therapy.
Mm.
So, which was, I never
For you.
thought,
Yeah.
yeah, never thought that I needed therapy. Turns out I did.
So,
Turns out, but it was really good to to not be the one that had all the answers and you can't logic your way out of situations, out of trauma, out of understanding things that have happened to you. And so the therapy part of it, which I always say everyone should go to therapy. Your friends are not your therapists.
yes.
They're there to, yes, to be with you during the hard times, but they're not supposed to be the ones who solve your problems for you. And it's unfair to put that on your friends and to trauma dump on them. So if you take ownership of that and you do see a therapist and you ask for help it doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It actually means something's really right with you. There's a little space that broke and light could come in and you get to heal from it and you get to basically be reborn, put yourself back together and get to be awesome for the next decades of your life. So when that happened, everything that I looked around that I thought I wanted, I ended up getting my master's. I ended up working in financial services. I was a teacher for 10 years. I had accomplished every single goal that I had ever put in front of myself. If I wanted it, I went after it and I did it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that happened was that I'm not intimidated. I am not intimidated by anyone. Like when we were in the military, there would be like senators that would come through, or there would be, I'm from LA. I would meet, movie stars. I was in upstate New York and there was a truck season there. So there's a lot of celebrities, a lot of millionaires there. I'm not intimidated by anyone and I talk to everyone very equally. So I didn't know that that was a thing that people admired about me because it was just who I am. I don't care that you're a millionaire. I don't care that you're a movie star. I'm just going to talk to you,
Yes.
but human being. So that came into effect when I was in leadership positions. because I would see solutions. Because again, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I needed to see solutions. I didn't have anybody to fall back on. I couldn't ask for help. So all the things that I thought disqualified me, all the things that I thought were my shortcomings actually turned out to be my superpowers. And so I always say there's blessings when things go wrong. There's lessons there. Losing, being hurt, getting your butt kicked, it's data. It's really good data.
So good that you bring that up.
It's
It's
good.
so powerful, and that's such a golden nugget because if we don't learn from those times that really break us,
Uh-huh.
how are we those times keep on repeating themselves
Yes, yes,
until we do the learn from
yes.
that time.
Yeah. And plus, have you ever met somebody that's really interesting and you're talking to them and you find out that they did this job or they went there and they went through this thing? They're so interesting. Likewise, I've had people in my lives where nothing ever happened and they were so short sighted and judgmental. Because like, why don't their kids do this? And why do, it's like they don't understand that bad things happen to good people or that good people make bad choices. And that happens so many times that good people out of the goodness of their hearts make choices that aren't good for them because they feel like they should self-sacrifice so that the other can have it. And you stay in situations, in relationships, in jobs that end up hurting your soul because you were trying to be a good person. And there's just no reward for self sacrifice.
Well, and that's so good also that you bring that up because it's the whole entire time really the proving yourself. You had said that right in the beginning,
Yeah. Proving myself that I could work. I used to work so many hours that my kids would be the last ones to get picked up from daycare, and then come home and have to do everything at home like everybody else does, but without a husband, so uh I was really strict and I had like a lot of routines and, the kids would come home and and homework and dinner.
you had
And I,
your systems.
yes, I had my systems, which I still love today. I love
Do
systems.
not destroy the systems.
Yes, we have to. And I would tell them, like, we're a team. We have to do this. So they were doing laundry as soon as they can reach the
That's neat.
knobs on the washer and dryer because I needed the help. So now I think back, did I shortchange them? Did they need the soft, mushy mom that I couldn't be? So there's guilt in that.
Mm,
Like I didn't read the books on how to be a mom. I was surviving
yeah.
my entire life with. So there's guilt. So now as adults, I talk to them completely different. I have so much more patience with them now because I feel guilty that you got this really stern mom that was in survival mode, opposed to the gentle parenting that happens now.
But look at them now.
Yeah, the gentle parenting that I didn't know. Yeah, so there's the consequences for living that type of life, and so the only thing I can say is once you know better, you do better. That's the only thing. So with that comes a lot of responsibility. So the therapy and the studying. I am big on a lot of reading, but also actions because we can get stuck in that cycle of reading and watching seminars and joining and listening to podcasts. And you get stuck in the wheel of research and like learning, but not actually executing it. And that in itself is a procrastination tactic because you're not even doing the thing that you're spending so much time learning. So for me, it was reading a lot, but then implementing. And so I still do that today. If I read something, I'll try to implement it. And if it's not for me, then I let it go. But I'm always trying to learn. My entire life, learning, learning, learning. It's been the thing that has always stayed with me was
Mm,
reading and learning. Because we can get stagnant and we also need to get out of our own head and out of our own environment, which the next thing is travel.
mhm, and
Getting
you
out of
gotta
your
go there, yes.
yes, getting out of your environment is um, what I call is life by design. The way that I started the book
Yes.
is I started with values.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. It's okay.
Yeah, I started with values because if you don't know who you are, how are you going to go on a journey? And how are you going to be able to design this life that fits you if you're still in people pleasing mode? If you're still working on just always over giving, trying to please everybody and not working on yourself. So, values, first of all.
Mm,
And then I went into community because I lost my community when I got pregnant. My family basically all turned their back on me. My friends' parents all told them to stop being friends with me. I was an outcast. I was alone. I had like two friends, two, three friends that really stood with me. And I was a cheerleader. I was popular. I had a lot of friends and I went to down to like two or three. So community to me is really important. And every time I've moved, I've had to rebuild my community. So, community, who do you surround yourself with? And that is really important because even your partner, you marry, yeah, the guy that that you love, but a lot of times we also marry the person for their potential. And I always say you marry their values, their character, their patterns, and their family. And you know that stuff for 6 months
write
of
that one
yeah.
down.
Yes.
It's a writer downer right there. And that's a part of your book, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So you marry your values. And so if your partner hates traveling, why are you surprised when 4 years down the line when you're married, he hates to travel and you're just wanting to travel and he's like, I don't want to do
Mm,
that. You knew that. That traveling isn't a value that he has. He doesn't want to explore. He doesn't want to go put himself in different situations. So you have to be really, really clear on your values. So values, your community, where you're staying, who you're surrounding yourself with. And then I also talk about healing your relationship with money, which is a really big one for women.
big one, especially in relationships.
Yes, because that can be a source of financial abuse. It can seem really romantic when your partner says, I'll just handle everything. And then years later, something happens and you're going through a divorce and you find out there's no money for you because it's gone or it's been misspent or something's been done with it. So healing your relationship with money, which also really gives you power with your kids. Because if you are from day one in the conversations with money, and if you're in the position of having older kids, you get to think about, well, you just had a grandbaby. And now you're going to open up a fund for the baby, or you're going to pay for daycare to help your kids out with the baby because you took care of your mommy. And now you're like, I'm taking everybody on a Disney cruise for 2 weeks because we have the money. So money isn't about the materialistic things. It's about providing experiences for your kids or giving them relief when they need it. So, but that starts way back when you're first married that you can be in those conversations and make those decisions. So money's huge.
Money is huge. And I just want to tell everybody that's listening right now, you have been married. You've been in a
Thir-
same relationship since the age of 14.
yeah,
36 years, you said?
37.
37.
Yes, 37 years.
Incredible.
So it's we were talking before this, time flies by. But I also think that when you're not in a good relationship, time can drag by. And I think my husband always says that his job is to have a happy wife. And so if I look good or if I feel good or if I'm happy, then he's doing his job. If I didn't look healthy or good or was happy or thriving, yeah, maybe it's not directly associated with him, but he would take it as, well, what aren't I doing?
Yeah.
So not that our relationship, and I don't think anybody's relationship is that you make each other happy. It's that you have two main characters. And when you're together, you get to share that good energy, not that one is waiting at home to um, wait for the other one to fill it. I had an instance of that.
That's such a good That's so good that you say that. That's such power right there. It brings up so much, and I just know everybody that's listening. It just brought up something that has happened to you or happened for you, a certain incident. Talking about how certain relationships can. My kids were just looking at a picture of me when I was in a terrible relationship. They're like, "Mom, you look so much older than what you are now."
Yeah.
And it really everything that you're saying, it resonates back to that.
Yeah.
Time goes super slow. You are completely survival, but in a bad survival,
Just tired and
non-negotiable
sluggish.
happiness. Mhm.
Yeah. And probably, you attract by your frequency and by your energy. And so, probably in that time of your life, you weren't attracting these winners around you and people that were offering you all these opportunities because you were probably sad. You were probably withdrawing. You were probably hiding information.
It was working 8 days a week.
Yes.
What was
Yes.
happening? Yes,
Yeah.
I had 2 businesses going on and I
Yeah.
was surviving, working
Yeah.
8 days a week, but yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah.
You're either numbing in your work or in substance, I numb in work.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. We yeah, we can see it. We can see it in our biggest organ too. We can see it on our skin, how and this is going off on another tangent, but your
no, this is so
nutrition,
good.
your
You're
nutrition, how you are feeding yourself. Like, I don't understand the flex or that people think it's a flex if they say, I haven't eaten today.
mm,
Like your poor body, your poor brain, and women with our hormones not not nourishing ourselves is so disrespectful. You're disrespecting yourself at the worst level when you're not eating well, when you're not feeding yourself quality food, when you're not sleeping, and your hormones will kick your butt. I've been in a battle since I was 48, 49 with perimenopause and now menopause, where I went so many years without sleep and the things that it does to your brain. And now finally I'm on HRT, I changed completely. I was irritable and I I looked horrible. And now that all of that is changed and now that I have I was telling got her groove back, like I feel lighter and I feel better. And it's incredible now when I look at pictures about like even in my 30s
yes.
and I look at my skin now, it's so much better now than when it was in my 30s. And I'm like, how? Well, I was stressed out then. I was in survival mode. Yeah, yeah. So everything matters. But it all comes back down to respecting yourself,
Mm,
pouring into yourself. As moms, we love to give, 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 give. But that isn't what your kids need to see. Your kids need to see, and not in selfishness, but in showing them that I need to take my vitamins. I'm drinking water. I'm exercising. I'm doing this so that your kids see that there's healthy levels happening. And adult kids are going to do what adult kids do. Everybody's going to go through their journey. But at least you know that you are setting that example in like you have good habits because you're just not going to be a happy person if you're not eating well. And then you're sick. My husband and I always talk about this. If, he'll say, that I love you forever and ever and ever, right? But if he's not exercising, I say to him, okay, you have heart disease in your family. I have heart disease in my family. I have diabetes on my side of the family. We have a lot of diseases on our side of the family.
yes.
So if you want to show me that you love me, you take care of yourself so that we can still travel when we're 75 and 85 and we're healthy and we don't have broken hips. That's love for me. That is long term. I'm going to be there for you. What if I get, Alzheimer's? I need you to be really healthy so that you can take care of me and give me dignity at the time in my life where I'm declining or vice versa.
Mm,
That's love for me.
yes.
That to me is respect, but not doing that and just saying I love you, like that doesn't mean anything if you're showing me that you're killing yourself by not taking care of your body and that's extreme, but it is your daily actions
Mm,
that accumulate. And so I love alignment. Like
Go
to
there. Yes.
Yeah, I
Let's go
have
there.
my words match my
Ooh,
alignment to me. I would not be a great candidate for main character or for a confidence consultant if I wasn't doing the work. And if I came from a place of victimhood. Yes, things have happened to me, but who cares? Bad things have happened to everybody. What are you doing with your life now? How are you helping people now? How are you being of service now? What alignment is to me now. It's that, yes, I can help you because I have frameworks in place. I have a history of doing this. I have decades of lived experience in this area. So that's how I can sit here and honestly tell you that I can get you from point A to B, and we can work together. But that's true in any role that you have in life, is that you're in alignment. And so that looking good on paper, but feeling disconnected from who you are, that's, I think, where women in their late 40s and 50s are feeling right now, is that they did everything right and something still feels off.
then there's still a gap.
Hmm.
And how do you fill that gap and that void?
Self discovery,
There you go. Mhm.
back to basics. I talk about finding something that you love to do and doing more of it. So I have a goal of learning how to play the piano because I wanted to do that in high school and then it.
Yes.
So, that's a goal that I have for myself. And so I'm always on the lookout on Facebook, Marketplace
Yeah,
for like those pianos just to start small,
doing
just
it.
to do
Yes.
that. But that would make me really happy right now is to have that goal met. Even if I can only learn at first to play chopsticks, I don't care. Like that would bring me joy. And if that brings me joy and I turn around and I talk to my husband, I'm like, look what I can do. That's an experience that we get to share together. He's happy because I'm happy. And that's the foundation we're at. And so in your life, if you can find what brings you joy and just be silly.
Have fun.
Fun. Fine. If you're in a season in your life where you haven't maintained your friendships, which a lot of women haven't because they're all about husband, kids, responsibilities, practices, being the taxi for years, that your friendships have fallen off. And maybe normally when you're in that age group, all the other mommies are in that age group. So it's not like, like let's do a long weekend of girls' trips like that. Usually isn't what happens. But when you're getting older and your kids are getting older as well, you can leave them for longer times. Just even if it's an overnight at a hotel, you like two, three of you guys go to a hotel and just a beautiful hotel and have a
Yeah.
beautiful dinner. And
Beautiful.
then, yeah, and do a spa, even if it's not even at a spa, but you just do face masks and do your nails in the room and be silly. Being silly is so underrated. I have friends where I am cracking up on the floor, dying.
I am coming there. No
Yeah,
kidding.
I have the party house. I have like
You
dinner
do. You do.
experiences. Yeah, I'm going to be doing an aperitivo experience in the next couple of weeks. I brought a bunch of bottles from Italy. So I brought some stuff to make some drinks and I'm just going to be doing, like stop over at 6 o'clock and have a drink in my house. But being silly, just laugh. Life is so short. It doesn't have to be that serious. You don't have to be that serious. I feel like I heard it somewhere that we're all walking around being 8 years old in these older bodies. So if you think back at 8 years old and what you love to do, I bet you that if you started journaling or you really started to think back at what is fun for you, you'd find it.
Mm,
And it's just a matter of doing it. And how do we do that? Meditating is huge.
the simplest things are really what shift everything. So you're
Yeah.
bringing all of these up, and it's so huge. What brings you gratitude? What brings you joy? What brings you a smile on your face? The smile is such transformation. Also, just always smiling. That sends shockwaves up to your brain and just instant
Yes.
happy dopamine coming
Yeah.
down. That's so powerful.
There's so many layers to it. And when you feel better, you're going to want to look better. And confidence has very little to do with your exterior and from validation. But doing simple things like doing your makeup in the morning
Mm.
and getting, like, I'm a big proponent of getting a blowout, which I'm going to get one tomorrow. I have curly hair right now. That's my natural hair is curly. So getting a blowout, it's out so much time for me. And I do it wherever I travel. I don't take my hair supplies when I travel. I always just go get a blowout. And I have the kind of hair that it lasts me like a week. So I'm lucky that way.
You are definitely
Yeah.
so lucky.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Because everybody's like, oh my God, I have to wash my hair every
And
other
we're
day.
talking about traveling. You travel all over the country. I absolutely love following you.
All the
Where is
food stuff.
Lisbeth in the world?
Yes, yes. So that was by design. My husband retired about, I want to say 6 years ago.
Okay.
And he retired from the military and he was home and he was getting a little antsy because if you go from all of the action that he was around and all of the moves and all of the being in different places, being home was quiet and he wasn't finding work that he wanted to do. And so he's like, hey, what do you think about contracting? And I was like, okay, what are you thinking? And I was like, as long as I can go. Okay. So yeah, that's exactly. I was like, okay. He's like, well, let's start with somewhere we haven't been before. And that was South Korea for him. And I was going to go and then COVID hit. Yeah. So I didn't get to go to South Korea and then they closed that contract down. And then he went to India from there. And then I was going to go to India and I was thinking eat love. I was going to go do the yoga. I was going to do all of that, right?
Yes.
Everybody
Had it.
already thinks I'm Middle Eastern or Indian. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to blend in. I'm going to be the local. It's going to be so much fun. And then COVID numbers hit really high there. So I didn't get to go to India either. So then he came home for a little bit and he said, I can go to Mexico City. And I was like, oh, I'm Mexican, but I'm from the very north. And I had been to Mexico City when I was a little girl.
Mhm.
And the connotation Mexico City is dangerous and like you're just going to get killed or kidnapped or robbed. Blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
So it was the absolute. We were there for 18 months and I was going back and forth still at the time. It was the best, most beautiful experience.
Mhm.
Art, it rivals Paris in art, by the way. So when people have this image of Mexico City, the restaurants, the food, the people, just beautiful, wonderful experience. But his goal was always to get back to Italy. We lived in Italy for 6 years. So he wanted to get back to Italy. And he came back from Mexico and then he put in and he got Italy. And so for the last 2.5 years, yeah, Italy. And
Beautiful.
yeah, I get to live. So that's the life by design.
Yes.
Do I not have a husband 24/7 at home again? Absolutely. Yes. Do I have to do everything at home? Yes. But the payoff, the payoff
Let's
is
hear the payoff.
the payoff is that we have an apartment over there and I get to spend about 5 weeks, about one every, I usually go, I slow down, but about every 2 months, I spend 5 weeks there. And in our daily life is that he goes to work. I wake up, answer emails, do my little admin stuff. I meet him at 12. We have a fabulous lunch. And I don't know if you've seen me post the lunches.
Most definitely.
Okay. We have these fabulous lunches. He goes to work. I go tour museums, cafes, spas. I do all the thing. He comes home and then we go out because Italy is an outdoor culture.
Yes.
So the restaurants, everything is outdoor, weather permitting. We are walking and talking and doing everything till 9-ish o'clock at night. And we go out about 5 times a week and we travel on Sundays. We'll go to Rome or we'll go to Florence, for the day, walk around and shop. So in my opinion, it's a good trade-off.
A million
Yes.
percent.
Yes. So people really look at me weird when they find out, the way that our lives are designed. But we also know like we're in a position where we don't have grandkids and our parents are relatively healthy right now and we're healthy. So we can do all the walking and all the, because it's really hard work.
Yes.
You're walking 20,000 steps a day. And for somebody who works out, I'm sure it's like That's not a lot. But if I'm home, I'll do 1,000 steps a day.
Yeah,
I drive
true.
everywhere. So for me to be there, I actually don't gain weight because I'm walking so much. I'm eating top tier food. I'm just mentally stimulated and exhilarated every single day that I'm there.
Mm.
So we designed it that way and we're going to keep doing it until it doesn't feel right or something happens. But I would rather work later. Like if I have to work till I'm 75 instead of 65, I would rather do that
'Cause you love
than be 65 and then start to travel.
Yes.
So that's just what worked for us. But it's all about the mental stimulation that we get from that. But yeah, that was a discussion. It's an agreement. It's not for everyone. But comparing that to him being deployed with no technology, this is a piece of cake. Like piece of cake. I mean, we FaceTime all day long. So it's fine. And it is a contract. He comes home. But I have a girly-ish home because
Girly-ish. Okay.
yeah, it's girly-ish with
Okay, yes.
gallery walls and a pink front
Yes.
door.
I love it.
Yeah. He's all about because my husband, loves museums and art and all of the eras, of art. He appreciates aesthetics. So fashion and decorating and everything to him is just as important as it is to me. So he's not the guy that's going to say, like, I have a friend whose husband is like, I don't want that on the walls. Really? There's no room on our walls because it's packed with all of our memorabilia. It looks like Europe threw up in our living room.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I'm not a carry-on girl either.
How do you
Take
get this home?
2 suitcases, a carry-on, and a huge backpack. I have brought home pieces of art, like huge pieces of art. I bring back bottles of liquor all the time. I bring suitcases of clothes home. I don't deny myself anything because if I see it, I want something that is going to remind me of,
Mm,
the place. So I buy a lot of stuff for like my kitchen because I like to I've got a new spoon holder
yes.
and I was in Lake Garda, which is a beautiful region of lakes in the north.
Mm.
And there was a market and it's a
Yeah.
big cat, ceramic cat.
I know, it was kinda
And
sad you took your
my
cat
friend
out.
said, "Look," and I was like, bringing it home. So we wrapped it up, and then you just pray that it doesn't break. But now I want to say at least 10 inches big of a cat. That's my spoon ladle. It's in my kitchen. It's silly, but it makes me happy.
Thing.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so I bring everything home. I don't know, and then the skincare over there.
yeah.
When I go to the pharmacies, like everything. I bring home 4 or 5 of everything. And the prices, because of European things, the prices are half. Like Calgary, like the French brand, like if I buy it here, it'd be double the price. So then, of course, doing girl math, you have to get more because it's half price.
Yes.
But yeah, the things like that are just experiences that, for us, when we're together, it's such quality time than if he was home at a job he didn't like and he was just here and, doing regular life. Like we've done so much in our life before internet. And what I mean by that is we used to travel when we were in Germany. We would go to Paris and we would go to other countries nearby the Netherlands
Yeah.
without any assistance. We would just open up the map and be like, I think, okay, it's this direction and then this direction. So anything from that to us is easy
Mm.
because we did it in such a difficult way. And like, why does all of this matter?
Yes.
Why does all of this matter?
Yes.
Why am I sitting here telling you all of this?
Yes.
Because you want to have stories. You want to have stories. Little you is looking at you today
Mm.
and she should be proud of you. Like she should be like, wow, we are doing that. And 85, 90-year-old that's rocking in that chair and living in dignity because you took care of your money and you valued yourself and you took care of yourself, and she's rocking in that chair and sipping on some lemonade, should have a twinkle in her eye of all the really cool stuff you did. That's why it matters. You're healing little you. You're paying it forward. I call it future respecting yourself now, so that that version of you when you're older gets to say, one time I blah, 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 you just get to tell really cool stories, or talk to your grandkids and tell them, that you did something really cool. So that's why it matters. It matters because you have one life. It's a short life. And who says you have to be miserable?
Oh my gosh, and it's really stepping into that version of yourself, that higher identity, the confidence.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
takes a lot
Yeah.
to get there.
It's so attainable. That's the really good news. It's attainable. You just have to get out of your own way.
Yes.
Get out of your own way
No, I'm like, "Let's go there." Yes.
and
Getting out of your own way.
yeah, and stop being addicted. You're addicted to the suffering that you're going through. Why is that the role you're clinging on to? Like, again, everybody goes through really difficult times, and I am not minimizing people's suffering. And the women that I work with are not the ones that I'm convincing to go to therapy. They've already worked on themselves. That's not my person that I'm working with. That is for somebody else to work with.
Yes,
That is not who I work with. I work with the women who are already deciding that they want more, but they don't know where to start.
yes.
That's where I'm like, hold my beer. Hold my Prosecco. Let's talk. Yeah, that's who I'm working with, not the one who still is deciding if she's going to do something. And that makes a big difference because there are specialists that work with those people as they should. That's what brings them joy. My joy is to open up different worlds and possibilities to you and to show you if I could do it, if that little 16-year-old bride with a chip on her shoulder, with zero community, no money, no guidance, no help, did it, you can do it. It's possible.
No, it is possible. And the sky really in the sky is the limit, but the limit is so much bigger than that.
Yeah, because you get to define it.
You do.
That's the thing. Like, whatever would bring you joy to me may be like, "Oh, that's cool. I wouldn't do that." Like, I always joke, hiking, like people that want to go camping and hiking, that's my nightmare.
Mm.
Some people are like, I want to go to all the national parks and go. I'm like,
You're like, I will where's the nearest
not I. Yeah, not me.
spot?
Mosquitoes love me. And when they bite me, I have an allergy to them. So I welt up. And then because I have dark skin, I get bruised and then it stays for weeks and weeks and weeks. So it's like not a good deal for me to be anywhere near in nature. So yeah, so that wouldn't be my idea of joy, but for somebody else, that might be the pinnacle of having freedom and standing in front of the Grand Canyon and the woods and camping and doing all that and being, you know, touching grass and being with nature. That may be the most beautiful thing to them. It's not for me, but to them it is. So you get to design it. You get to design it any way you want. Your pinnacle may be that you're going to design this house where you're going to have a compound, which I have a friend who's dreaming this, as she wants to buy properties around so that her kids will live there, so that all of her grandkids will be around her and she gets to have that. So she's investing a lot of money into that. So you get to design it any way you want. You just have to do it.
Yes, and you are the
Yeah.
creator of your reality.
Yes.
So
Yes.
everything you seen, the design and all the things, it's so powerful.
With AI now, the things that you can think of with AI now. I was just talking to a young man last night, and he's in an AI, and so I was just talking to him about how life is going to change and everything, and he's like, we don't even know what we don't know. And I saw it as like cool possibilities. So can it be scary? Yes. Can the robots take over our lives? Maybe. But also, wow, that's really cool. Yeah, our lives, I think they said in the next 5 years, the amount of change that we're going to encounter is more than since like we've been keeping track of advancements. It's going to be really interesting. But yeah, use it and use it for planning, use it for anything that you think that you have a deficit in. So I don't do plane tickets and I don't do reservation. I don't like the clicking. Like if I have to click more than twice, I don't have the patience for it. So
Okay.
that's husband's lane. Okay. But I am the one with the vibes. Like I know the hot
Yes,
spot.
you are. There.
Yeah, I know all the good stuff, but I'm not gonna plan it. I'm just gonna tell you where we should go and go
Yeah.
buy the train tickets,
Yeah.
go make reservations. But we had friends visiting in that were gonna visit Europe. And I just put it into ChatGPT and I was like, this is what they want to do. This is what they don't want to do. This is where they're going to be visiting. And in a matter of like 60 seconds, it was every day planned out. Now, if I would have had to do that for them, I would have been miserable. That just having that part of it is like you just don't really, if you're wondering anything, you can figure it out now. There isn't. I used to tell my students, my middle schoolers, I was like, do you know what I used to do when me and my friends used to do when we wondered something? And they're like, what? I'm like, we just used to keep wondering because nobody was going to go to the encyclopedias at the library to look it
Yeah.
up.
We have to go up to the shelf and look through all the
The Dewey
encyclopedias
Decimal
and
System to look at the book. Nobody
my
was going to do
gosh.
that. So we all just were walking around wondering. And if you asked an adult, they'd probably make up an answer anyway. And kids would believe it. But now you can look up anything. So yeah, you get anything as possible. Yeah. It's a really cool time to be alive.
So powerful and so grounding into the confidence, into the design. And one of the biggest takeaways is the design.
The life by design. Yeah. I think that the
Everybody that's listening right now, I know that they've already had a thought.
I hope so, because I hope there are nuggets in here. And I hope that when you are going to make a decision or you're contemplating something, you think of where you are today. You think of, so I'm Lisbeth today at 53. I want to show respect to little Lisbeth who grew up the way that she was at 8 years old, right? And then I really want to give 85-year-old Lisbeth some experiences. I really, really, really want to give her some awesome experiences. So when you're trying to choose which timeline you're going to walk through, which ones need to be collapsed, which ones need to be ignored, and which one you're going to follow, think of your three versions and who do you want to be? And are you really going to be the one in this timeline messing it up for future you? That's a big responsibility.
There's a big one. That is
Yeah.
really big.
Yeah. So
My gosh. So good. Well, I love your message so much. And truly, this episode was so powerful. And I want to dive in a bit more before we wrap up. I want to let everyone know how they can connect with you, how they can learn more about the main character method and follow your work for
yeah.
everybody that is listening.
So I do a lot of Instagram. So that's Lisbeth, Lisbeth underscore Farinella, Farinella underscore. That's on Instagram. And then my book is The Main Character Method. It's a blue book and it's on Amazon. And it goes more into depth into some of the things that I talked to today. And it's the foundation, but even since a year ago from, when it came out to where I am now, there's another iteration that I'm talking about. So when I'm on stages, I've added even more
Gosh,
because I'm
this
alive,
is
because
good.
I've lived more,
Yes.
because I've had so many conversations, and because I'm learning, it's now probably like the main character method 2.0 at this point. So as long as I'm living and having experiences, it's just going to keep evolving. So I feel like now like that's the foundation, but it's going to keep growing. And so if yeah, I think if you want to follow the adventures and some snippets, Instagram is the best. And DM me. And I'm going to have some workshops coming up and be on stages. So there's going to be some good stuff and some freebies along the way. So
We will drop all of this in the show notes. So
perfect.
maybe we will surprise you with something amazing. One of our events that's coming up, we will drop all of that below
Awesome.
that you can grab. And for everybody that is listening today, if this episode really spoke to you, make sure to share this episode and tag us on socials. We will drop all of ways to contact or get in touch in the show notes, and send this to someone who needs this reminder today. You are not here to be supporting the character in your own life. You were made to fully step into who you are. And thank you so much for being here.
It was fun. That was so much